Is that the approach you've taken with your comedy?
Nobody's ever learned to swim with a life jacket on.
And you shut the light off and you're laying there head on the pillow. What are you thinking?
Probably should have finished school.
Yeah. Did it become easier to be gay?
Well, it's always been easy to me. I never cared.
This is what kills me. You're from Vancouver, right?
Yeah,
How did you become a Bruins fan?
and my dad was, so to appeal to him, I like the Bruins.
Was he from the Boston area or
No,
something?
he's just old.
Oh, and there was the original
there was like
six.
there was like no Canucks, I guess, when he
Yeah,
was
and the
growing up.
Canadians and Maple Leafs were sort of your teams. How come you didn't pick either one of them?
I think he liked Bobby Orr. Because he was like born, he was like, was a kid during like Bobby Orr, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. When the Bruins won, was it 2011?
Yeah, I went to game 2.
You did?
Yeah.
I had tickets to that game 7, but I had to do a gig, and I had to do the gig, so I didn't
Did
go.
you regret it?
Because they won, I did, but when I saw the riots afterwards, I didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
I would have been smart enough not to wear any Bruins shit up there. I just don't need the headache, and I would have walked out, but like I was not. You know the whole stereotype about you guys is you're supposed to be all like super nice and everything like that, but you lose a playoff series and you burn down your city, so there's something going on.
I
up
think
there.
people are still going to jail for that.
Right.
Like it's taken this long.
Well, what is going on up there?
Nothing
Because-
really.
Okay.
There's not a lot.
No, but like when Michael Moore does documentaries, he makes it seem like you guys, they leave their doors unlocked and they just blah, 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 or whatever, and then,
I've never left a door unlocked.
yeah,
Maybe
okay.
certain areas.
All right.
I don't know. It's getting spread out now.
Have you
There's too many people.
Have you participated in a riot?
No.
Have you seen one?
I was there, but I left.
You left.
I got out.
You got out. Now, do you have citizenship down here?
I don't. I just have a visa.
Do you feel like if you crush on this show, that's going to put you over with Donald Trump?
Like I would get a green card.
Yeah.
If I crush.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna watch it?
Well, let's ask some questions. You got to answer these correctly.
Okay.
Are you for the wall? Come on, man. You want to get that card?
If I'm getting the green card, then I don't even think that's on the test, though. I have to know presidents, which is, I don't know any.
I think I probably couldn't pass that test.
I don't know you personally, but if we did the test right now, I feel like I could get more right than you.
Okay, ask me a couple questions.
Who's the first president?
George Washington.
I didn't even know that. That's why I asked.
Oh, because it's the easy one. You got to go to the second one. No one knows the second
Who's
one.
the second one?
One of those Adams.
Adams?
Started a
Jack
beer company.
Adams?
Sam.
Sam Adams? That's
Joel.
Boston.
I found this interesting as far as your backstory, as far as just being comedians and having to like communicate and relate to everybody. Your mother's deaf.
Yeah, my mom started losing her hearing when I was little. So she like lost it as like I was like a teenager.
Oh wow! So what was that like watching
just
that
like
process?
I think probably harder for her than it was for me to watch. I mean, I've only started to think about it like a lot lately.
Right.
But it would just be a lot of loud TV and loud music constantly.
Right.
Like just because she was still trying to hear, like when she still had like a bit of her hearing. And then she would just kind of like, because she got hearing aids, but she wouldn't wear them even when like she like refused.
I do that with glasses.
Yeah,
I feel like if I get glasses, that's going to make my eyes weaker.
Yeah, it's like when you wear chapstick, like it trains your body to like it.
Is that what it is?
The chapstick. Yeah, because there's like there's a chemical in it.
I feel that way. Half the people I see walking around with canes.
Yeah, like
I'm
if
like,
they
tough it
didn't.
out. You don't need that, dude. Now you need that thing. You know, you ever see those people? They have the cane, they put it down, and then they pick it up and they walk like 3 steps.
Yeah, it's like
and then put
nobody's
it down.
nobody's ever learned to swim with a life jacket on.
There you
Like
go.
you're just supposed to throw yourself
like
in the
that.
water.
Is that the approach you've taken with your comedy?
I think so.
How long you been doing it for?
5 years now. I started like my friend made me start like we started like 2 weeks before I was 19,
Oh, okay.
and then so yeah, 5 years.
I'm always jealous of you guys that started that young. So you're only like what, like 24?
Yeah, but I just watched like an old tape and it was like I'm like
That's good though. That means you're growing. If you ever watch an old tape, you're like, oh man, I'm crushing
I was
it.
good.
Yeah, you stink.
Yeah,
You're not getting any better.
Like I look back longingly.
So where is your sports college affiliation?
Michigan.
And how did that work out?
My dad went to school right by Michigan, and so he had season tickets, so he used to take us to games growing up.
So how long were you in Ohio for then?
I mean, we split time. He worked for GM, so he was moving constantly
that's
to
what it
stay
was.
ahead of the plants closing. So
Now, did you live through that whole period where the plants closed down? And
Oh
everything?
yeah.
What was that like? Did you guys go from living like a pretty
I started
cool
doing
house?
open mics when it started happening. So the crowds were just people that were out of jobs and they were just depressed. But yeah,
So what were the crowds like back then? Did they like need a laugh?
just people drinking. They weren't even there for shows. They were just drinking. I mean, we were doing shows in bars, and we were just kind of pop-up mics. So we'd be talking, and they'd be pissed off that we were there talking. And
Yeah, I remember that when I started out.
Yeah.
It was in Boston. I started when it was the end of the comedy boom. So it was more a lot of bitter comics, and just playing bars, and they would be shutting off
so it
the
was a lot
hockey
like
game.
that, but it was people just, their
Oh,
lives
all
were
right.
imploding.
What did your dad end up doing? Was he able to retire as an auto
Yeah,
worker?
he stayed with GM for a long time. Then he went to Delphi, and then he went to another company, and then that company folded, but he retired about 6 months before.
So that's starting to make sense because I wanted to ask you. You majored in journalism, and you
Yeah.
were like a month away from graduating,
That was a semester away. Yeah.
a semester away, and you just said, "I'm going to start doing comedy." What
No,
happened there?
I was doing comedy while I was going to school.
Right.
And then I won a contest, and the prize was to go out to LA to perform at the Comedy Store.
Oh, okay.
So I got there. It was a Friday night. I was 21, maybe.
Right.
And Bobby Lee came upstairs, and we're sitting in the green room, and he's looking at me. And I mean, that was 10 years ago, so I
Right.
looked like I was 12. And he goes, "Oh, dude, I want to see the kid go on. When's the kid going up?" And I went up, and I had a pretty good set. I could hear him laughing, and he's like, "Come on, we're going to dinner." And so he takes me to dinner, and he's like, you just have to drop everything. Just move out here. What are you doing? Wasting your time?
Nobody ever told
do
you
it.
that your dad never told you if you came to LA and a pudgy Asian guy came up to you and asked you for dinner, you probably shouldn't do that?
No.
You're lucky you didn't end up in a
It's not
trunk
something
or
you
something.
learn about in the Midwest.
No, I love Bobby. So,
Yeah.
so did that make it easier though for you to? Because I'm really impressed. I was one of those people that I really, when I got to college, I was like, I have to finish this thing. And I was
No.
22,
So
then
I was the
23,
opposite.
24.
I knew I wanted to do comedy when I was 17, but
Oh,
I had to
okay.
go to school because my parents were like, you have to go to school. And so I was only a journalism major just so I could learn how to write.
How did they handle when you said, hey, I know you just paid for 3.5 years of school. I'm leaving now.
Yeah, my mom has always been like, well, you should finish, and then, this is something you can do on the side. And my dad's always been, just do what makes you happy.
So what was it like when you moved out and you go to the Comedy Store? So now you broke their hearts, I guess, by not finishing up with journalism.
Yeah.
So you go out to LA and then you start doing spots. What was your first spot like at the Comedy Store?
I mean, it was brutal. LA scene compared to Detroit was like night and day, where there was no audience, and I won a contest. So I thought, okay, all the shows are going to be like this. It's going to be in the belly room. There's going to be like 60 people. They're going to be fun.
Bobby Lee's going to take me to
Exactly. Buy me a sandwich. And I get there, and the first potluck I did at the store was on Super Bowl Sunday. And
Oh, no.
this was when there were no crowds. Like, I was at the tail end of like the dark ages. And, so literally
Yeah.
even the guy working the door is down at the bottom of the steps watching the game on the TV. All the comics are out there. The host just brings me up to an empty room and then walks
Like
outside to
literally
watch.
0 people?
Literally 0 people in the room. No comics, no audience. And so my first set as an LA resident was to nothing. And that was like, welcome to Hollywood. This is pretty much how it's going to be.
So that night, you go back to wherever the hell you're living,
Yeah.
and you shut the light off, and you're laying there, head on the pillow. What are you thinking?
Probably should have finished school.
Yeah. What is this deal with you? Is it your wife now or your girlfriend?
That's my wife.
It's your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got married. Now, what is this story? You broke up?
Well, we had been together since high school. And, if you with somebody since high school, it come a point in time where it just gets so serious. You be like, is this it? Is this all I'm going to have?
Right.
So I was okay with that being it, but she wasn't. She wanted to branch out, do her thing. She was religious, so that was messing with her, so she left me. And I couldn't handle it.
How old were you?
Probably 22,
Did
23.
you see it coming?
I mean, I felt it because I knew, it's tough. It was tough to be gay back then. Like now it's like, all flamboyant. But back then, 10
What
years
years
ago,
was this?
probably 2003, 4-ish.
When did it become easier to be gay?
Well, it's always been easy to me. I never cared. I was always
I was
myself.
gonna say it was around Will and Grace. Is that when all of a sudden it got easy?
When all that
It's a
came out, then it
sitcom,
became out,
man.
yeah. And that's our thing too now. But
right.
I couldn't handle that, man. I wind up just getting a little crazy. I just followed her everywhere.
So you started like you were a stalker.
I was low key a stalker.
You were what?
I was a low key stalker.
Low key stalker.
Yeah.
So you're clarifying it. How would she describe your stalking?
Well, she loved
Hardcore?
it. She loves it now.
Oh,
when I finally told her what happened, she was like, all right. She was like, this is love. This is the most romantic thing anybody's
Oh, she
ever
didn't
done.
know you were doing it?
She didn't know at the time.
So what were you doing? Like, tell me, like, okay, you have a job. You
All
have
right.
to eat. How
So
are you
here's the
keeping
thing.
tabs? I want to know about this stalking life.
All right, so here's the thing. Like, she had this tree, like, on the opposite fence of her apartment, right? And I'm like, this is the perfect view for me to watch everything she's doing.
Oh,
know?
you like did like
I
a-
hate trees,
Right.
and I hate in New Orleans it's just mosquitoes. It was so annoying, but this is
But
what
you
I
loved
did.
her so
I loved
much.
her, and I was like, she better not be with nobody. I was ready to hop out the tree, get my woman, act crazy. I was ready to lose all my rep. I didn't care.
So you probably scared whatever was in the tree out of it as you were coming up.
Well, see, eventually
Yeah,
I wound up
game face.
becoming friends with her neighbors in the opposite complex, so I could stay out of that tree. The tree was getting a bit uncomfortable. It was hot. It was annoying.
That's that Southern hospitality. even a stalker. Come on in, sit down.
Yeah, but they
Make
had did it
julep
though.
or something.
From that moment on, it just became a little easier because then from there I could just see her from the patio and I could just look like everything's fine. And I wonder why nobody never said nothing. Like, why you looking out that window over there? Like, I just stayed in this one spot outside their house.
How long did you stalk her for?
Oh man, probably for like 6 months.
6 months you do this. Now, while you're doing this, at any point, are you thinking like, what am I doing?
The whole time. But you know what? I needed that because I'm
you
just
talking to yourself?
I'm talking to myself. I'm on the phone with people. I'm doing all kind of stuff I'm not supposed to be doing. I didn't care.
Okay.
That was
so
my
then
baby.
what happened? Did you? Because you guys are back together. How did you get back together?
Well, eventually, so I left. So I needed that push. Like I've always said, I want to come to California and follow my dream, yada, yada, yada. But I never really thought, I don't really think I believed that.
So you stalked her for 6 months, and you're like, all right.
I got to get out of here. That was the push I needed to come to California. That was
it
the
that
push I
last
needed.
time you walked up to the tree or the patio? I can't get myself to look out this window anymore.
You ever just lose yourself and then you wake up and be like, bitch, I'm Bill Burr. What am I doing?
I definitely lose myself, but I never talk about myself in the third person.
I do. See? Crazy.
Okay, so you said, all right, fuck this.
I got out.
I'm Punkie. I'm gonna go start.
I'm Punkie, man. This ain't me. I'm better than this. I'm worth more than this. So I was like,
Kind of a punk move, sitting in a tree for 6 months.
yeah,
but
that's
okay.
some bitch shit.
But Punk E.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
I had
left.
to turn the fire on.
That's right.
That's right. I got out of there, bruh. Came out to California, and I just found my way in comedy, and then I get to come sit at the table and talk to you.
Well, there you go.
And then we got
wait a
married.
minute. So wait a minute. So then you're out here. You left her, and then all of a sudden you're moving up the comedy ladder.
Well, because you know how women are. They be like, bye, bye, leave, leave, leave. And then as soon as you leave, they be like, where you going? It's
Yeah.
like, bitch, you told me to leave.
Exactly.
So I left, and then the day I was leaving, she jumped in a car and drove with me to California.
Oh, so she was just getting off on all the attention.
Probably.
She knew you were there.
She knew I was there the whole time. She knew.